you don't know. Don't be a groupie, keep it moving, shout it, you don't know. Hey, I ain't tripping, but the truth is really you don't know. Yeah, you know they call me T.I., but you don't know. You be hating and I see why, cause you don't know. Quit telling people you my partner, listen, you don't know. Don't be a groupie, keep it moving, shout it, you don't know. Hey, I ain't tripping, but the truth is really you don't know. Yeah, you know they call me T.I., but you don't know. You be hating and I see why, cause you don't know.
Hey everybody, welcome to TAN TV, the African American Network. We have a local feel with a global reach. You're tuned in and Out of Bounds with my man T-Rex, which is me, and my big man, Big Henry. How you doing, Hen?
I'm good, my brother. Today? I'm good. Good to be here, brother.
Well, today, everybody, we are a little shorthanded, so we're just gonna talk about something that is close to everybody here, me and Henry, because we both from Tennessee. Henry is in Memphis, and I'm from Clarksville. So we're gonna talk about the shooting a little bit in Nashville. Not exactly the shooting itself, but the weapon that was used. So just to start it off, Henry, was that an AR-15 at the
15,
young
AR-15? Yes, sir.
You know, I still don't understand why legislator does not ban that weapon, because of all the mass violence it can do with just one clip. I don't understand.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Do you have any input on that, or?
I agree with you 100%, man. What is the purpose of a person having an AR-15, a hand Uzi or Uzi or any type of semi-automatic weapon? What is the purpose to having that weapon in your home? It's one thing, you know, it's to go out and do bodily harm to a group of people or someone like that, man. And that is so sad. And a lot of the times in their situations where you have gangs and gangs against gangs and over colors, you know, which is bad, man. You know, it really is. But those type weapons, I think all of those automatic type weapons really should be banned, man. You know, and another point, Terry, the weapons are not the problem. It's the people that's using them and the reason for them using them or having them. You know, a lot of people say, well, I'm getting ready for Armageddon. You know, come on, man. Let's be real. That's not the real reason, I don't think. I was brought up with guns all my life, man, in my house as a child, in my parents' house. You know, my dad had pistols, shotguns, and kept the shotgun stacked up behind the door, you know, in the bedroom. And we were told, don't never mess with them, which we didn't. You know, he was a hunter. He was an advocate hunter. And we knew the guns were there, but that was it, man. Nobody talked about getting a gun to go out and do bodily harm to anyone. In my day, it was this. We threw these. You know? We threw hands. And after it was all over with, you know, man, okay, you got me today, I'm going to get you tomorrow. But that's the way it was. But right now, brother, it is out of control, man, and something has got to be done about it.
Well, I look at it like this, and you can tell me exactly how you feel on this. I think that 90% of due to Caucasian men's fear of being overrun by some type of minority or something. I mentioned earlier that back in the Black Panthers days, California was an open carry state. And then when all those black men started carrying them M16s, California voted that off. And I just believe Congress is obviously full of older white men, and they're afraid of something. I don't know what. I can't say it's black men, Latino men, Asian men. I don't know what they're afraid of. But to have a weapon of like that just lingering around after, I mean, we had our first taste of it in the hood, but that was, you know, anything happens in the hood is not like, oh, it's not a main thing. It's like crack, you know, crack ran through the hood, sent everybody in prison, and all of a sudden we got the opioids. We got, oh my God, we got to save the children. You know, I say they pick and choose what they want to crusade, but as far as the weapon goes, it was used in the hood, and Now, the first time we actually seen that type of weapon I used on Sandy Hook, and that was what, that's 2015 or something like that. I'm not for sure the date,
Yep.
but they
Yep.
haven't done anything about it. Legislation hasn't said, hey, we need to ban this weapon. I agree with you 200%. The weapon is not killing the people. It's the people that's handling the weapon. But if you make it, in this last incident in Nashville, you correct me if I'm wrong, they were, the girl was a little bit, what's the word I want to use? I don't want to say she had mental issues. How's that?
Right. Right.
And they still sold her 2 to 3 guns. Her parents said get rid of them. She got rid of the other ones, but she kept the AR and a
Right.
pistol. So with that being said, why isn't Congress really jumping on this thing and making a big noise? It's not even after the massacre in Nashville. They haven't even talked about it. So give me your opinion on what can we do to get legislators to get this done so that we can stop getting all these children hurt.
Man, I think it's got to be the leaders to step up. And you may say, we may look at who are the leaders, who are the spokespersons, whether it's the pastors in the churches or somebody that can force legislations to take a look at this. I think the people have got to step up and demand. They got to go to their congressmen. They got to go to their aldermen. They got to go. And I think that's where to start. They got to bring their attention to these and say, hey, this is a problem. And the problem needs to be adjusted or taken a look at for us to do it. Because if we don't, man, it's going to get worse. It's just going to go. It's just going to. We'll have a snowball effect on what we're doing, man. If nobody stands up and says anything, it's crazy.
Folks, somebody to fix something. Like rub some dirt on it, put a little salt on it. So my old mind is, like I mentioned earlier with the Black Panthers, if we want to control gun violence, then all we have to do as minorities has to go up there and start purchasing large weapons like an AK-47 or whatever they are, AR-15, so that now that we have this weapon, we're equal. And I believe that Congress, especially some state legislation, will be passed banning that weapon, because they don't want the playing field to be equal. They always want to have a little more power. And I think once the playing field is equal, i.e. Oakland with the Black Panthers, they're going to ban them.
Right. You're exactly right. It's just like, and I forget the name of the ammunition, but it's a bullet. It's a piercing bullet that pierces the flap jackets. And
armor piercing.
I don't know if it's armor piercing, but the police was wearing the flap jackets, and there were bullets that was able to pierce those flap jackets, bulletproof vests. And they made those bullets. They banned those. I forget what they were called, man. But it's going to take something like that. And at that case, you're right, man. African Americans were purchasing those, and when they started purchasing, they said, well, these guys are going to attack the police. They're going to attack the FBI. So we got to stop that. So when you start, you hit the nail on the head. I agree with you 100%, man.
And I mean, I understand the NRA's point of view when they're talking about, guns don't kill people, people do. But I think they also has to take some responsibilities for mass production. There's in some states, I guess Tennessee and Texas, I do know about both of them, was open carry. So you just go out and buy what you want.
Right.
I mean, I don't know if I know there's rumor. I haven't been to Texas in a while. There's rumor that you just can go in there, you could be a felon and just go in there and purchase a gun and walk out. Now, I don't know if that's true. So if we got any viewers that live in Texas, please chime in and let us know, is that true or not true? But I think we need to do better. I mean, I understand the difference in the community aspect. As long as the drugs and the violence is out of their community, it's out of their hands. They don't really care. But Sandy Hook was in 2012. But when you look at when it starts infecting their neighborhood, I mean, they still act like, oh, well, it's a tragedy, but it's not the weapon. But yes, it is the weapon. Yeah, because if that girl would have had a 9 millimeter or a 45, it couldn't have had that many bullets in it at one time, and they could have caught her. They could have caught all these people, the one in Texas and everything, before they had to reload. So I
Exactly.
don't get it.
Exactly.
I don't
Exactly.
get it.
That's a horrible situation, man. And how old was the young lady, Terry? Do you know how old the young
I
lady
think
was?
she was in her late teens,
Right.
and she went back to her elementary school
Exactly.
to shoot.
So
Uh,
do you think the parents should have some type of responsibility in that as well?
well, I think if she bought the gun on her own,
Right.
so
As a
that means
teen, as a
as a
teen.
teen, so that means
Wow.
she is responsible for herself.
Exactly.
I don't blame the parents, and I hope the people in Nashville don't blame the parents, because the parents, they knew she was, a little bit confused, and they told her to get rid of the weapons, but I think she kept two or maybe one. I'm
I
not
think
sure
it's
how many she
two.
kept.
I think she kept
Two.
two. Right.
So I think that was the main reason. And I don't get with this bullying stuff, Henry. Like you said earlier, she was 28. We knuckled up back in our day. Why is everybody gotta carry a gun? I mean, size in people it hasn't really changed. There's always a bigger guy or a bigger woman and a smaller person, but there's always been that. It hasn't been that. But now, before, we just had better hand skills or whatever. Now you
Absolutely.
just carry a weapon to equalize it all.
That's it. And that's the end off. Everybody wants to pull a weapon or pull a gun. There was a movie several years ago, and I think it was called Juice.
Mm-hmm,
Um,
mm-hmm.
where the guy says that, "Oh, I'm a nobody. I'm not nothing." But when he's got a gun on his hip, he feels that he has the juice or has the power or the respect. And that is so wrong, man. It really is. We got to get back to using our minds, because the mind is the most powerful weapon or the most powerful tool that the body has. And it controls everything, man. You got to be able to talk and conversate, because back in the day, I always was told conversation ruled the nation.
That's
And
it.
so that's what we got to be able to do, man, to get back to.
I just hope legislation can be passed. I mean, uh, obviously, we went to what they call a predominantly white college. What did you call them? What?
PWI.
PWI. That's the new phrase. We both went to a PWI school, so
Right.
And played ball. So I'm pretty sure even in high school we played ball. So we didn't even have the problem that
Right.
much with racism and bullying.
Right.
Maybe I was just out of it. I don't know, but I didn't see bullying, especially in high school. I didn't see bullying.
No, man.
So
I came in when busing was just starting, and
mhm,
we were in a predominantly black neighborhood, and we got bused to a white school.
mhm.
And even in that case, man, I never saw any bullying or anything like that. Uh, it was absolutely crazy, because when the black athletes came to the football team, mostly all the white players quit, and
Yeah,
wouldn't play. But I mean, to that's them. That's their loss. You know what I'm saying?
true,
It is
true.
crazy, because if you dislike me for something that I did to you. Don't dislike me because the pigmentation or the melanin in my body is higher than your body, or yours is lower than mine, man. We're all God's children, and you cut me, I'm going to bleed red, and cut them, they're going to
You
bleed
bleed
red.
red. That is
It
so
is
true.
really sad. It is really sad that you can take a baby, a white baby at birth, a black baby at birth, put them in a crib. All the thing they're going to do is eat, cry, sleep, and use the
There you
bathroom.
go.
But then when we get up and at a certain age, we can't live together. We can't live side by side for whatever reasons. But when we die, you're gonna bury a black person right next to a white person. They just gonna be two dead people,
Dead,
right?
you dead
You know
people.
what I'm saying? So we got to learn to live together, man, and be respectful and be mindful, man. And this gun stuff is just really, really crazy, my brother.
Yeah, I don't. Well, hold on a second. Hey, thanks for tuning in to TAN TV, the African American Network, where we have a local feel with a global reach. You're watching Out of Bounds with Big Hand and me, T Rex. Here we go. So I was just my whole thing, Henry, is that why go to an elementary school? You know, I understand that. I mean, everybody. I can't say everybody because obviously we didn't have it, but I mean, I got bullied a little bit in elementary school, but then once I knuckled up, it was over. I mean, so if you're a little timid guy, yeah, or a woman, you might get bullied. But back then, it wasn't. I mean, it wasn't like bullied on social media. You
Mm.
know, all you gotta do is cut it off. You know, if somebody, I got bullied on social media, I just deleted it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Oh, I don't care. I don't know why people still do what they do.
You know, and it is crazy. I don't, you know, and like I said, man, I grew up in what we called a rough part of Memphis during the time I was coming up, Binghamton. You know, I didn't know it was rough, you know, because that's all I knew. You
Right,
know,
right.
yeah, we would get into it. There would be fights and all of that. But man, there was one time of the year that we really got into it, and that was the last day of school.
Yeah.
I mean, the last day of school. But man, didn't nobody have no guns, no knives, no nothing, bro. You just threw hands, and that
That's
was
it.
it, man. That's
That's
it.
it.
You know,
Yeah.
and but now
Like
you
pops.
can't do that. You can't do
Yeah.
that now. You got 14 and 15-year-old guy. Man, I pulled up and I'm driving a certain type vehicle, and I pull up at this certain intersection, and this little boy, probably 13 or 14 years old, does a hand gesture and says, "Give it up, Trick," like he's gonna jack me, you know. And I just looked at him and laughed, man. You know, I said, "Bro, you just say what you want, man, but we gonna leave it at that." And I'm gonna say this too, Terry. My wife and I were at a football game,
Mm-hmm.
and she wanted a sandwich or snacks or something. So I went bought a Coke, popcorn, and a hot dog.
Mm-hmm.
So this one dude, it was three little young guys.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, when I got the food, you know, one of them put a hoodie on, the other one put a hoodie on. They got on the right and the left of me, and one stood behind me. You
Uh-huh.
know, and I'm just, you know, just out there, you know. So this one, I stopped and I said, "Excuse me, sir, answer this question for me." And he said, "What is it, OG?" I said, "When the good Lord gets ready to call one of his children home, why does he use me as the vessel to get them there?" You know? And they said, "Man, you better leave dude alone." And they went on, you know. Now, when they left, man, I'm saying, "Whoo, man, let me go to the bathroom," you know.
Well, you know, I understand, you know, it's a culture thing, but I mean, I guess we have to wait for other people that actually been bullied to talk about it. I just think that you know, uh my son was bullied a little bit. I talk about him because he's my kid. And once he stood up and handled his own business, and I was proud that he won, he was never bullied again. So I
Right.
understand that. But when people use weapons, uh, especially high power weapons, I mean, we're talking about AKAs. I mean, AKs. I'm sorry, AK-47s and AR-15s. But I'm gonna get that one back. But
Yes, sir.
my daughter gonna be all over me on that one. But
Yeah,
they also got those, what's they call it, 30-06 that can shoot like 2 miles away.
yeah,
Them a sniper
that's
weapon. Why would you have one of those?
well, like a lot of people deer hunt with a 30-30 or a 30-06.
Oh, okay.
You know, they deer hunt with those because they are some of them 100 yards out away from the deer or 50 yards out. So
Oh, okay, okay.
they use those to do that with. But yeah, but you're right, man. It's everybody don't do that with them. You know, I've heard guys say, "Well, I've got this building. You know, people are looting. I'm gonna get on top of my building and protect it." You know, for what, man? What is you got insurance?
That's
You know
it.
what I'm saying? So why take a life, man? You know, God is the only person that just should judge like that. You know.
Well, Look. We'll just talk about me and you back at Austin P when I
Yeah.
had my shotgun in the back of my 280Z. Remember that?
I,
And
I vaguely remember it.
you always clown me about it. I don't know why you vaguely remember.
Yeah.
Uh, only thing I did wrong was I wasn't smart enough to know that I was on federal property.
Mm-hmm.
And as a kid, uh, I don't know if I'd have pulled it out. I know I did take out my cane, and then that's what the police thought that I pulled. But then they showed that the ammunition was locked up in the glove compartment in the little thing, and the gun was in this zip up thing. They still arrested my butt,
Right.
but that taught me a lesson right there. Be aware of your surroundings, just like you were saying when you was getting your sandwiches and stuff. But I still don't understand why you got to kill children. I mean,
Exactly.
I'm not for killing nobody, but if you want some attention, kill somebody important. Vanston hit me on them dim AKAs on fire. Leave us alone, Q dog. We having fun.
Yes,
But that's something else. Well, let's get off that for a moment and go to something more popular and a little more funny.
okay.
Last week we was talking about black men being single, and this week we're going to piggyback a little bit on that, but we're going to talk about just men in general being single. Because I was at the gym and I was talking to a bunch of young cats in the gym, and they are ages between 25 and 35, and they're single. And they got great jobs. All of them are they're all multicultural. There's not just one particular culture. They're all different cultures. They white, black, Latino, Asian. One guy, what's his name? Oh God, I can't think of it. Paul is he's Indian, not Indian from American Indian, but Indian from India. And they were just saying that, it's really too much trouble to get married. First of all, if you're successful, you have to share, which I don't understand that at all. I mean, if you're married and she doesn't work, I get that. But if you both work, why does the man always got to give up half? Well, I shouldn't say the man. I should say the person that makes the most money. And I don't see that. I don't understand that. I mean, maybe because I'm not in that situation, but as far as someone giving me money, but that's what I see. So I can understand, what they were talking about. Do you feel the same way? That you don't want. I mean, not you personally, but the young guys out there don't want to share if something goes wrong in a relationship.
Well, and I'm gonna talk about me just a little bit there because I was taught, to never abuse or misuse or anything like that a woman. So if she buys you a pair of shoes, you buy her 2 pair. That way, if the relationship ends, then there's no misconstrued, or I want this back or I want that back.
Right.
You look at these young guys today, Terry, and they're young, 20s, 25 years old, got decent jobs, working as executives and so forth. And look at the ratio. I don't know what it is, and I should have really looked at it before I came on the show, but it's almost 2 to 1 or 3 to 1 women. So at that point, you're young, nice looking, decent job. Why get married? Why do it? Because you have multiple people at your disposal, or I'm not going to say disposal, but at your availability, I guess I could say. But that goes the same way for women as well, too. So,
yeah. Well, I was just, when you said the percentage, I went to it real quick and see if I could find it. I would say you're pretty close, maybe a little bit higher, but pretty close on it as far as the ratio. But I hate to say it like this, but being a mature man and looking back at my previous days, I always thought, why is it different for men? When a woman's going out, like the comedians always say, they go out Hey, we going to the club. Okay. That's it. You don't know where we going. Nah, you have fun. I might not be
Mhm.
back till later. That don't matter. I'll be asleep anyway. But
Mhm.
when you flip the script, they want to know who you going with, where you
Yes, sir.
going, how long you were going, and
Right.
then sit up and wait for you.
Right.
Why?
Right.
I
Right.
mean, I
Right.
can understand. I understand the young cats, man. I'd be like, I wouldn't want to go through that. I wouldn't
No,
want to go through that.
no, no, not at
So
all, man.
it's crazy, man. It's crazy. But the young guys out there, and I'm sure Henry's a mentor, so he mentors young guys. And I just want to put a
Yes, sir.
little bug in you young guys here. There's nothing wrong with finding that special lady,
No,
and
sir.
there's also nothing wrong with continuing to look for her. I mean,
Mhm.
I'm not going to be disrespect, but if you got to hunt for a few years to find that right one, then that's what you do. But
Right.
don't always think that. Don't fall for the okie doke. That's the better word I'm gonna use, the okie doke,
Mhm.
because you know the old cliche was back when we was young cats. Our dad said, if you want to see what the girl looks like, look at her mama, check out how her mama act, and then how she treat her daddy, and
Yes,
that's
sir.
what you
Yes,
go
sir.
get. And
Yes.
I mean, those cats didn't have the internet back then. Our fathers back then didn't have the internet. They were just going off of a pure experience. And
Exactly.
that's what
Exactly.
I say, man. I think 90% of the problem, I won't say it's women, but I think it's single women talking to the woman in the relationship.
Mhm.
So I think that's the biggest issues. What do you think about that? I mean, that's why men they stay single.
I agree too, man. A lot of cases that you'll have a single woman giving a married woman
Mhm.
advice about their relationship, and that makes absolutely no sense at all. So and what's sad about it, the married woman, I'm gonna say at least 60% of the time is listening to what she's saying.
Yeah. Mhm.
So opposed to stopping that right there and going on and says, look, this, I'm not qualified for that because I am married and that's this.
Mhm.
So, and a lot of times they're looking at your situation and jealous of your situation. And, I'm not going to say it's the crabs in the barrel syndrome. I'm not happy, so I don't want you to be happy. But sometimes that is the case, my brother.
You know what? I agree with you 100%, man. I always tell little cats I be talking to, man, our little frat brothers. I always tell them, I was like, I can't tell you what to do to
Hmm.
make your marriage work, but I
Hmm.
definitely can tell you what not to do because it will fail.
Hmm.
So before we get off this tonight, and you got anything you want to put out to anybody out this, that congratulations to your son
Oh
for
man, absolutely. He's in Atlanta, Georgia,
mhm,
coaching at Grayson High School,
mhm.
doing a fantastic job, and hopefully they'll bring home the state championship this year. So I'll be in Atlanta back and forth a lot this year during football and track season. So supporting him. He's getting married in July
Mhm.
the 1st. So I'm looking forward to that.
Oh, that's amazing. That's amazing. That's a true blessing, brother. That's a true blessing. Well, all I can say to everybody out there, man, is be safe. Uh,
Yes,
watch
sir.
out for your environments, and definitely watch out for the weather. I don't know what's going on with the weather now, but I'm in Southern
Global
California.
warning.
We get nothing but rain. It's about to rain here in a
Warning.
minute. So
Yeah.
I want to give a shout out to the AKs. I want to make sure they don't be hunting me down tomorrow and beating me up. Not the older ones. I cannot run anybody, so I cannot run them either. But I just want to say I didn't mean to say AKs. I meant to say AK-47.
Yeah.
So especially shout out to my oldest child. She is a AKA, so I don't want to holler at you or none of your sorors. But
And
thank everybody for
my daughter's an AKA as well.
you pass that on to her too. So I'm gonna say good night, everybody, and thank everybody for tuning in to TAN TV, the African American Network. We have a local feel with a global reach, and this is Out of Bounds, and I am your T-Rex, and that's Big Henry over there. That boy is huge. He like 6'7". No, he ain't about 6'2". So everybody have a good night. Hopefully next week we have the whole crew back, and we'll get right back on our topics of interracial marriage, and let the ladies, when they come back, think about why they believe black men are single. So with that saying, peace everybody, and like they used to say, that's peace and love. Soul Train. Peace out. Bye bye.